The Restaurant of Many Orders, Kenji Miyazawa. Two young gentlemen, dressed entirely like British soldiers, carrying shiny rifles and leading two dogs like polar bears, were walking deep in the mountains, where the fallen leaves whispered underfoot, saying things like this.
These mountains are outrageous. Not a single bird or beast anywhere. I don't care what it is. I'd love to go bang bang at something already.
If we sent 2 or 3 shots into the yellow flank of a deer, that would be quite a thrill. It would spin around and then thud, fall over, I bet.
They were far into the mountains. Even the professional guide who had led them was a bit at a loss and had gone off somewhere. That's how remote it was. Then, because the mountains were so fearsome, the two dogs like polar bears both grew dizzy, growled for a while, frothed at the mouth, and died.
I've taken a loss of 2,400 yen,
said one gentleman, lifting the dog's eyelid a little.
I'm out 2,800 yen,
said the other, tilting his head in vexation. The first gentleman turned a little pale and, staring at the other's face, said,
I think I'm going back.
Right. I'm getting cold and hungry, too. Time to head back, I suppose.
Then let's call it a day. On the way, we can buy a pheasant at yesterday's inn for 10 yen and take it home.
There were rabbits, too. Same difference. All right. Let's go back.
The trouble, however, was that they no longer had the faintest idea which way to go to get back. The wind began to blow. The grasses rustled. The leaves scraped dryly. The trees boomed and thudded.
I'm starving. My side's been aching for a while.
Me too. I don't want to walk anymore.
Nor do I. This is bad. I want something to eat.
I'd really like to eat.
So the two gentlemen spoke amid the Sasuke grasses that shivered and hissed. Just then, when they glanced behind them, there stood a fine Western-style house. On the front entrance hung a plaque, Restaurant, Wildcat House.
Perfect. This looks quite smart. Let's go in.
How odd to find a place here. Still, we can get a meal, I suppose.
Of course. We've got a sign that says so.
Let's go in. I'm so hungry I could collapse.
They stood at the entrance. It was built of white glazed bricks, truly splendid. There was a glass double door, and on it, in gold letters, it read,
Everyone, please do come in. There is absolutely no need to refrain.
Delighted, they said.
See? The world does work out. Today was tough, but now we've hit some luck. It's a restaurant, but they'll treat us for free.
Seems so. Absolutely no need to refrain must mean exactly that.
They pushed the door and went inside. There was a corridor immediately. On the inside of the glass door, in gold letters, it said,
We offer an especially warm welcome to those who are plump or young.
The words, warm welcome, made them jubilant.
Hey, we're just the ones they're after.
We qualify on both counts.
They pushed steadily on down the corridor when they came to a door painted a pale, watery blue.
What a strange house,
one gentleman said.
Why are there so many doors?
This is the Russian style,
the other replied.
In cold places or deep in the mountains, it's all like this.
As they went to open the door, they saw words written above it in yellow letters.
Please be advised that this establishment is a restaurant with many orders.
It's quite the popular place, out here in the mountains no less.
Exactly. You won't find many big restaurants on the main streets of Tokyo that match this.
They said, and opened the door. On the inside of that door, in gold letters, it read,
There will be quite a lot of orders, but please bear with each and every one.
What on earth does that mean?
One gentleman frowned.
It must mean that because there are so many orders, preparations will take time. So please excuse the delay.
That must be it. I'd like to get into a room quickly.
And sit down at a table.
But, annoyingly enough, there was yet another door. Beside it hung a mirror. Below the mirror lay a brush with a long handle. On the door, in red letters, it said,
Dear guests, please tidy your hair here, and then remove the mud from your footwear.
That's only proper. I admit I looked down on the place at the entrance, just because it's in the mountains.
The etiquette here is strict. No doubt very important people come often.
So the two of them combed their hair neatly and brushed the mud from their shoes. No sooner had they set the brush back on the board than it blurred like a haze and vanished, and a rush of wind swept into the room. Startled, the two pressed close to each other, flung the door open with a bang, and went into the next room. They both felt that unless they ate something warm soon and revived themselves, they would be in real trouble. On the inside of that door, more strange writing appeared.
Please leave your rifles and ammunition here.
They saw a black stand right beside them.
Indeed, there's no proper way to eat while carrying a gun.
Truly, very important people must be here in the back.
They unshouldered their rifles, unbuckled their belts, and set them on the stand. There was another black door.
Please remove your hats, overcoats, and shoes.
Shall we?
We must. The personage in the back must be quite grand.
They hung their hats and overcoats on pegs, took off their shoes, and slapped along barefoot into the door. On the inside of that door, it read,
Tie pins, cufflinks, eyeglasses, wallets, and any other metal items, especially anything sharp. Please leave them all here.
Right next to the door stood a fine black lacquered safe with its mouth open, even with a key provided.
Aha! Some dish must use electricity. Metal would be dangerous, especially anything pointed. That must be it.
Sounds right. And perhaps we settled a bill here on our way out?
It does seem so.
Surely.
They took off their eyeglasses and cufflinks, placed everything in the safe, and snapped the lock shut. After a short walk, there was yet another door, and in front of it a single glass jar. The door bore the following words,
Please apply the cream in the jar thoroughly to your face and to your hands and feet.
They looked and saw that what was in the jar was indeed dairy cream.
What do they mean by telling us to put on cream?
Well, it must be terribly cold outside. If the room is too warm, your skin will crack. So this is to prevent that. Clearly, some very important person is in the back. Out here, of all places, we may even have a chance to make the acquaintance of a noble.
The two of them smeared the cream on their faces and hands, then took off their socks and rubbed it on their feet. There was still some left, so each, pretending to be applying it to his face, secretly ate a bit. When they hurriedly opened the door, on the inside it said,
Have you applied the cream well? Have you also applied it to your ears?
There was a small cream jar there as well.
Oh, I forgot my ears. I nearly let them crack. The proprietor here is really thorough.
Yes, attentive to the tiniest details. But I do want to eat soon. This corridor goes on forever.
Right in front of them was the next door.
The food will be ready shortly. We will not keep you waiting more than 15 minutes. You will be able to eat at once. Quickly sprinkle the perfume in the bottle over your head.
A gold-colored perfume bottle had been set before the door. The two of them splashed the perfume over their heads. However, the perfume smelled oddly like vinegar.
This perfume smells sour. What's going on?
They made a mistake. The maid must have a cold and put in the wrong stuff.
They opened the door and went inside. On the back of the door in large letters, it said,
We have given you many orders. How troublesome it must have been. Our apologies. This is the last one. Please rub plenty of the salt from the jar all over your body.
A fine blue, glazed earthenware salt jar had indeed been placed there. But this time, both men started and stared at one another's cream-smeared faces.
Something's wrong.
I think so too.
The many orders, they're orders being given to us.
Exactly. As I see it, a Western-style restaurant isn't a place that serves Western dishes to the people who come. It's a house that turns the people who come into Western dishes and eats them. That is to say, we...
They began to shake so hard they could no longer speak. They trembled and could no longer say a word.
Run.
Shaking, one of the gentlemen tried to push the door behind them, but it would not budge an inch. Deeper inside, there was yet another door. It had 2 large keyholes and cutouts in the shape of a silver fork and knife. On it was written,
Thank you for going to all this trouble. Everything has been prepared most excellently. Now then, please step into our stomachs.
What's more, from the keyholes, 2 blue eyeballs were peering out at them.
Whoa.
They shook and shook. The 2 of them burst into tears. From inside the door, they heard whispering.
No good. They figured it out. Looks like they didn't rub in the salt.
Serves us right. The boss worded the sign badly, writing something foolish like, We're sorry for the many orders. You must be annoyed.
Doesn't matter to me. They never share even the bones with the likes of us.
That may be. But if they don't come in here, we'll get the blame.
Shall we call them? Let's call them. Hey, dear guests, please come quickly. Come in, come in. The plates are washed, and the greens have already been nicely salted. All that remains is to pair you with the greens and arrange you on a gleaming white plate. Do hurry.
Yes, do come in. Or is salad not to your taste? Then we'll light the fire now and fry you instead. Anyway, please hurry.
So distressed were the 2 gentlemen that their faces turned like crumpled paper. They looked at one another's faces, trembled, and wept without a sound. Inside, someone chuckled and shouted again.
Come in, come in. Crying like that will wash off all that precious cream. Right away, coming right up. Now please do hurry.
Quickly now. The master has already spread the napkin, knife in hand, licking his lips as he waits for you, dear guests.
The 2 men cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. Just then, from behind them came a sudden woof, woof, gwah. The two bear-like dogs burst through the door and leapt into the room. The eyeballs in the keyholes vanished at once. The dogs growled, circling the room for a moment, then barked a sharp woof and sprang at the next door. The door clattered open, and the dogs flew through as if sucked inside. From the pitch darkness beyond came meow, gwah, grrr, and then a dry rustling. The room evaporated like smoke, and the two men found themselves standing in the grass, shivering with cold. Their coats, shoes, wallets and tie-pins were hanging from branches here, strewn at the roots there. The wind roared, the grass rustled, the leaves whispered, the trees thumped and groaned. The dogs, growling low, trotted back to them, and from behind came a voice calling, "Sirs! Sirs!" The two suddenly revived.
Hey! Over here! Over here! Quickly!
They shouted. Their professional guide, a hunter in a straw rain hat, pushed through the grass to them, and at last they felt safe. They ate the dumplings the hunter had brought, and on the way back they bought a pheasant for 10 yen, then returned to Tokyo. However, the faces that had once turned to crumpled paper never returned to their former state, even back in Tokyo, even after a hot bath. Thank you for listening until the end. For anyone who loves Japanese literature or just wants calm readings to help with focus, relaxation, or sleep, this channel is for you. Please like the video and subscribe.